Hey there folks, my name's Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. Today we're of course jumping right back into the usual routine, trying to get a win with every deity in the game. And where we last left off, we'd had an interesting start to our attempts on our return here, trying to get Lugonu, or rather a Lugonu run going. And after that tumultuous beginning, we did finally settle into something a little more consistent with Quaslal as our starting god. Of course, it was a bit of a surprise. I'd forgotten completely that Abyssal Knight was no longer an option, so we had to make do, adapt, as it were. And so we're hoping that today we can, for the first time, I think since I've started playing the game, I'm gonna abandon the god, and we'll see how it goes. At least abandon or cause penance on purpose, because I think I've definitely attacked a few slimes by accident in the past, much to my own chagrin. But of course, we'll have to see if Abyssmally III here can stay alive long enough to actually get Lugonu by our side. Of course, who knows what the dungeon has in store, so without further ado, I guess we just have to jump right into it, shall we? Did have some nice little unrend arts here. Overall, character was looking alright in terms of resistances, so not too shabby of a start. You can also see that we had lined up to head to Vaults next after grabbing our first couple of runes, but I was just thinking to myself, as I was getting settled into stream here, getting ready to start up, do we potentially want to go depths first? The benefit of doing so, of course, is that we would be able to get Lugonu. Try to find that abyss entrance a little bit earlier through one of the depths portals. Of course, I'm kind of used to doing it this way, and generally I find vaults to be a little more straightforward than depths, in terms of being the first place we go to after sorting out the S branches. Largely similar opponents, of course, similar difficulty I'd even say, but just the map layout. It's nice that vaults is, well contained. It's this modular kind of setup, and each room can be handled individually. But I think we're doing everything different this time. We're abandoning gods, we're going into depths first. Who knows? We'll throw the whole kit and caboodle, everything but the kitchen sink. So I guess we can go for it. Always a little nervous hopping back into these runs. Ah, hey bye Susan. For you, my friend, maybe what we'll do is we'll let Bye Susan walk around the corner. We'll explode some elements, as it were, and then it's elemental force. I do think, Bye Susan, you have abjuration, don't you? Unfortunately, I mean, most uniques at this stage in the game have it in general, but especially the summoners. So that's a bit of a shame. I guess one potential option there is we could File of Floods you, at least try to prevent you from casting any spells. While we're at it, let's just go a bit ham. We'll bring in some clouds as well. And then Bye Susan should go full dragon mode pretty soon here, or I guess full Hydra mode to be a little more accurate. I do have an electrical weapon, which is not great against you, now that I think about it. Completely immune to that, eh? Well, don't really have any other options at the moment, so here goes. Guess we could try to Ice Blast, gets a little bit of preliminary damage. I don't really want to hit my own buddies, though. So maybe we'll wait one turn. And you know what? We can actually bone a friend again. Let's step back to the stairwell now, and that should do well enough to begin with here. Fantastic. Even getting a simulacrum of our favorite Hydra summoning friend there at the end. Beautiful, not too shabby at all. And that seems to be all the attention we're garnering with the loud noises that we make upon entering any floor, thanks to our storms here. But not too bad. The next potential question that we need to address here is what exactly our plan is going to be for this jaunt into the abyss. Specifically, I'm looking at our level 18. It's not horrible. That's definitely within an potentially acceptable range for heading into the abyss. Though my general rule of thumb, what I like to live by, is level 20. Level 20 is when you can kind of start to feel safe, especially on a character that's, you know, well designed to fit, to mesh with the Abyss. So generally that's going to be your kind of hardy fighter style characters that can last through a few different encounters without having to scramble to regenerate MP or anything of the like. But oh right, I have to enable one seal. I'm trying to escape out of this. That's not how it works. Let's just put on Evo for now, why don't we? Just something to settle that for now. I just had a brief moment where I couldn't actually recall if we were playing a Gargoyle or a Vinestalker, because I know we were kind of swapping back and forth between those in the first few runs of the attempt here. Even Torinski, I know that I've just jinxed myself to die at level 20 or 21 now, right? No way, right? At this stage, we're definitely going to win. How could we possibly die at any point, really? Not just before hitting that level. We're fully locked in here, right? Can't imagine anything going downhill, right? We do have the Earth Shaman. Let's get rid of them, and then we can pop down into this nice corridor and reconvene on the encounter, as it were. Definitely not going too horribly. Our Vinestalker regeneration, definitely doing a lot of the heavy lifting, which I guess kind of plays into what we were discussing earlier with characters that do well in the Abyss. Regen kind of reigns tantamount in the Abyss. Gives you that sustainability that we definitely need. So hopefully that can be, what's the opposite of the deal breaker? The deal maker, I guess, though that's not exactly a colloquial phrase. I don't recognize this tile. Oh, that's the Hood of the Assassin. How about that? Sense nearby creatures, particularly effective stabbing attacks. Oh, if only this was a Vinestalker Vuskaya, then we'd really be in business. AC would increase a little bit, but our Dragon Helm is where we're currently getting Willpower and Slay from, which are both fairly helpful in our current endeavors. Maybe we'll pick it up for the time being. No real guarantees that we'll end up using that son of a gun, but can have it in our back pocket as a potential option for said future. Said future that, again, definitely exists. No way, no how do we find some way to embarrassingly get ourselves knocked out within the first few moments. It's not like that would be in fitting with the general theme of most of our runs. I feel like the first 30 minutes to the first hour of my stream is generally spent in a rough fight against my own instincts, but hey, we'll see how it goes. No promises one way or another, eh? I do have to remember, there was a quick blade in a shop on this run, wasn't there? In fact, I should always probably get into the habit of checking my shopping tab when we return after a week off. Because Box of Beasts, also probably a good idea. In fact, that's something we should probably have on us at this very moment. But let's ignore that for now and read this scroll. Not the best acquirement here. Fly, resist cold. Bit of strength. Shmishmop. I guess I think our boots are giving us resistance to cold, and I don't really see those swapping off at any point in the near future. So maybe we'll just leave this son of a gun cooking for now. We'll see if we potentially have some reason in the future to swap into one of those, potentially have some reason to just take the cash prize and buy up some goodies. I also didn't realize quite how badly the Malmutators were messing with us there. Down to 1 intelligent. Couldn't degenerate any of my other stats there, friends. Just had to feed. I guess they maybe saw a weakness and capitalized on it. And, you know, I'd say it was rude of them to assume that that is my weakness, but we all know that they had the right idea, most likely. not too shabby. Any decent shops? So I think just those few, and in fact, already, moments after discussing the box of beasts, I've already forgotten. Should probably head up that way and buy that now. It's nice to have a bit of a tool in our box, especially since we have decent evocations, so the summons that we get out of that son of a gun will do quite well. It's all the way up on D2. And the Tropa Tip darts are probably at the point now where they will have fallen off. The Rapier of Speed, on the other hand, I'm tempted to pick up, in case we find ourselves in another situation where we have an enemy that's immune to lightning. I mean, in addition, Rapier of Speed is also just an incredible weapon at the end of the day. Definitely endgame material. Again, if this was a Nuskaya Vinestalker, I would pick that up, max enchant it, and that would be our weapon, potentially even into like a 15 rune run. Has a little bit better of a base damage than something like a Quick Blade, so generally is a bit more sustainable into the later stages of the game. But let's pick up that bad boy. Why the heck not? We'll see how it goes. And then back to depths we go. I was just realized I think I was kind of on autopilot there. We fought a bunch of demons. Was there a portal to the Abyss? Or to Hells? Ah, Pan. Never mind. And Hell, yeah, not quite any Abyss at this moment. I'm sure we'll find a gateway any moment now. Would be nice. We are up to level 19, so we are a little bit closer to that kind of self-imposed requirement that I'd like to hit before heading deep into the Abyss. Kirari darts, I mean, at this stage in the game, they've probably fallen off, but I'll still pick them up in case we do happen to encounter maybe a unique that doesn't have any of the poison resistance that the majority of our enemies see at this stage. Will Spriggans play intelligently here? I never remember which enemies take advantage of open adjacent spaces to surround. And right, minus scroll. I should probably get rid of that mutation, eh? We have, only 3 mutation potions? Not good. Not great odds of not only getting rid of that, but not replacing it with something just as or even more terrifying. Guess we won't think on it for too long here. We'll just keep breezing through, and eventually that will most likely come to a head, but for the time being, let's just keep on keeping on, shall we? Hello, my snail friend. I was trying to think of classifications there for a moment. Completely blanking. All I could think of was cephalopod, which are, I know, octopus, but what is the actual requirements? What are the necessary steps to be considered a cephalopod? Couldn't tell you. But okie dokie, I don't really want an Etten and all these Spriggans, so potentially this is the time for a box of beasts to come out. They can kind of assist us as best they can, and we can let these Spriggans come in. And that worked fairly well. Kind of want to let the Berserker peter out a little bit, you know, work yourself out of your rage, my friend. We don't have Tin of Tremor Stones, which is one of my usual go-tos for dealing with any sort of Spriggan band, just because they're generally not the most defensive-oriented enemies in the game, I guess. But that's not horrible. Okay, let's try to get back so that the vampire isn't poking us from beyond there. Ooh, and the Spriggan Air Mage actually is going to be a little bit of a problem. That worked fairly well with the players at half health and no MP. Hey, that's a good 52 health more than I need. I was concerned about the Air Mage just because they have undodgeable attacks. Yikes. speaking of things we should potentially have a healthy dose of respect for. This is, however, where those Curari could potentially work. 87% chance to hit. Beautiful, never a doubt in my mind. Can just gain a little bit of ground on this son of a gun, and then finish them off with a good old-fashioned Mind Burst. Which does immediately beg the question, usually a question that is designated for Hydras more than any other enemies in the game. And Eden gets thrown a Mind Blast Ray. Does it work twice as well? Is it twice as effective? Does it only affect one head? These are the critical questions, of course. There is a +4 Quick Blade of Venom. Not ideal. Venom specifically, I'm not usually a fan of by the later parts of a run. But should pick it up, especially since what that does have a high likelihood of turning into is our Distortion branded weapon. Because in that case, I think we'll do a little bit better with the Quick Blade than something like a Rapier, just because we want as many procs as we can. We want to be hitting those banishments left, right, and center. And we get to the Abyss entrance. I'm pretty dang close to level 20. I guess we might as well finish this floor, see where that takes us, see where that brings us, and then we can make the decision. I was giving myself a crash course in Quasal Penance right before starting up today, and I'm hoping we'll be able to handle it. Fortunately, Lugonu helps a little bit with that. Specifically, benefits anytime enemies or an angry god summons in any friends to punish us for our misdeeds. I should be way more careful with the Spark Wasp as well here. 64% chance to hit you. We'll have to do... Oh, and I'm minus scroll at 15 health. Well, at least we have an innate Spirit Guardian effect, because that's the only thing kind of keeping us in the running at the moment here. Box of Beasts not quite back up and kicking. I could try to paralyze you. 28% chance is not great. Looks like we may just fulfill that prophecy and get ourselves killed off on the brink of level 20. But hey, it's not over till it's over. It's been a while. What was the Abyss changes in reversion now? There's XP in the Abyss again, right? There is. Yeah, they returned the XP, got extended down to 7 branches, I believe. So a little bit of difficulty weighting change there. Not recalling at the moment what else there could be. And hey, Connells, how are we doing? You just had a game with a Spriggan, Orb of Guile, and Discord. Never realized how OP that was. Yeah, the Orb of Guile is one of those funny things that when you happen to find yourself in those niche case scenarios where you desperately need that little shift in willpower distribution on your enemies, then you get into some really fun combinations that you wouldn't otherwise really see. But the nice thing about me taking a moment here, reading chat and getting, you know, all the neurons percolating, is I actually did notice our minus scroll is gone. So we do have a hope in this cold, dark world. I don't have any blinking, unfortunately, and that's kind of what I was hoping for. Could bring out butterflies and hope they block any thrown rocks. Could check in on the Scroll of Fear as well, and I think that's what we'll start off with here. I think it's good chances. Ooh, 64%. So not great chances after all. I mean, I'm probably not going to be teleporting, so I could turn into a tree, gives us a little bit more max health, a little bit more AC. Could also turn invisible, I guess, right? I'm going to turn invisible to start off. Cool. Still have to get out of this situation, but it's a start. It's quite literally something. What is next on the agenda here? Could just be a fear scroll. Now that we have a little bit of hope potential hope that we could avoid some attacks or further attacks than we normally might be able to. 27% chance to hit me here. Does seem a bit more apt, a bit more reasonable than it did previously. Is invisibility something? You feel like it's more of lack of something? But what is nothing but a lack of something? What is something but a lack of other things? How many tries until I stumble on something that sounds kind of deep? Chances are, infinite number of tries, seeing as how I'm not exactly a philosopher on the existence of things and other such matters. Is Acid Wand gonna do it? What is something but the lack of nothing? True? I like that. What is invis? Baby don't see me. Baby don't see me no more. What is invis? Well, apparently the answer was to just start smacking things. I should also probably still be running away. We're not quite out of the weeds yet, and I'm acting like we've won the whole trophy already, which is, again, not necessarily the most correct interpretation of events here. Let's blow your mind, baby. Not too shabby.